So, hello, my name is Emma. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and my family and our experience with the Children's Hospice. I'd never heard of Children's Hospice before, to be quite honest. And I lived 6 miles away from Littlebridge House, which is really quite embarrassing in some ways. Actually, I used to drive past it all the time and really had no idea what the place was or what it did until after the birth of my first daughter. So Imogen was born in July 2011. She was born after what was quite a difficult pregnancy. Myself and my husband were delighted when we found out we were pregnant. But at our 5-month scan, so the second scan, we were told that our baby's brain hadn't developed properly. The consultants couldn't tell us any more than that. We had no idea what to expect. So for the remainder of the pregnancy, I went to Bristol every 10 days. So I live in Bideford, so Bristol every 10 days to have scans and tests and all sorts of things. But they never found out what was wrong with our baby, just that the baby was going to be very small and was going to have a very small head. So Imogen was born 5 days early on the 12th of July 2011, and the first thing she did was cried. So that was great, because we really didn't know at that point even if she was going to be born alive. So from then, the next few months were really difficult. So the next kind of 6 months, she spent most of the time in and out of hospital, mainly Bristol. So I was in Bristol on my own for quite a lot of those 6 months. She was diagnosed as blind. She had polymorphic epilepsy, so she was having seizures all the time. She was unable to swallow, so she couldn't feed, so had a tube inserted into her stomach. And to be quite honest, it was a really, really, really hard time. We were kind of struggling. When I was home, it was all very difficult. My husband had to carry on working. He's got his own business. And so one of the community team mentioned going to or being introduced to Children's Hospice. And first of all, myself and my husband were just like, oh, no way. Our little girl was alive, and despite all of the difficulties, she was thriving. She was developing in her own way, and we felt like by saying, oh yeah, let's go to the hospice, that actually we were kind of giving up on her and feeling like we just thought, oh, you know, she's not going to live. So initially we said no. And then I think things were just getting really, really difficult. Imogen, she never slept. I mean, I know babies don't sleep, but she literally never slept. She needed 24-hour care. And we were kind of on our knees, I think, at this point. So just thought, do you know what? Let's just go and have a look. It's 6 miles up the road. If we hate it, if we really don't want to go, then we haven't lost anything. So we went, and I can honestly say from the minute we walked through the doors, I just felt like this massive burden, this massive relief almost, because I felt like we had somewhere where people were going to help us. At the time, we just felt like we didn't have any help, and we were really, really struggling. And we just walked through the door, and people were so nice and so friendly, and the place was just so bright and happy, and there were just so many sounds of laughter, and it just felt like home. It just felt like somewhere I really, really wanted to be. And the most important thing is that Imogen, from the minute she went through the door, absolutely loved the place. The gardens, the jacuzzi, the sensory rooms, and just the attention, to be quite honest, at that age. She just wanted to be held and touched and played with all the time, which meant that she had everything she wanted. We stayed and could get some sleep and spend some time together with Imogen without feeling like we were just this nurse or doctor, which we really weren't at the time. So over the next few years, the hospice just really helped us out. Anytime I was struggling, I'd phone, we'd go out there for stays. So Imogen's health, was up and down a lot of the time. We were in and out of hospital. And to cut a long story short, she took a massive downhill in 2015, where we ended up in hospital for quite a long time in Oxford, actually, of all places. And then she came home, and we really felt like we were getting somewhere, but it was quite clear that her health had really deteriorated. And then on the 12th of March 2016, she died in A&E. Was all very, very quick. It was, I can't say the word completely unexpected. We were always, we were always aware that her life was going to be a shorter one, but I don't think we were quite prepared for how sudden things happened. She died within 4 hours of going to hospital. And yet again, the first people I called were the hospice, and 2 of the staff came out straight away to see her just after she died. And then we went back with Imogen to the hospice for 3 days, just so that we could be with her. And we were just kind of sheltered, I think, from that shock and that initial pain, and I think panic. And we just, I mean, like nobody does, we just didn't know what to do with ourselves, I don't think. And I think we felt really safe there. And people could come and see us, but we didn't feel like we were being inundated, if that's the right word. So yeah, they helped us with all of her funeral plans, and they were just really there, I think, making sure that we were kind of keeping our heads above water, if that's again the right term. By this time we had another daughter as well, so we had Evie, and she obviously was in complete shock as well. Her sister, she was used to her sister going to hospital. She went all the time, but her sister went to hospital 1 minute and then she just didn't come home, and that was really hard for her. And so again, they really helped us with her, talking to her and giving her kind of space to be able to talk about how she felt as well, because it's quite difficult, even though she was little, to talk to us, because every time she mentioned Imogen to me, I just cried or wanted to cry or found it really hard. So they were really, really amazing with her as well. And then, so since then, it hasn't stopped, to be honest, because I guess as with any bereavement, the pain never goes away, and you never get over it. So there are times which are really, really difficult. And in particular, actually, this last year has been very difficult, I think, because we're so used to going to remembering days and the fates and the Christmas carol service and being really involved with this, because that's somewhere that as a family, we feel like we're very connected to Imogen. That's where she loved to be. So in Abertine, that's where we love to be. And we also have another daughter now, Amelie, who never met Imogen. So by going to the hospice, we've always found that as a way of recreating, I think, a lot of the memories we had with Imogen, so that she can really feel connected to her older sister as well. And in particular, Evie does find it very difficult to talk about Imogen and to I think even get her own head around the fact that she's got 2 sisters, but she's only got 1 sister that she can actually play with and be with. So yeah, this year has been difficult, but again, the hospice have been amazing. We've actually been involved in some Zoom bingo with some other children, some other siblings. We did go in for a little visit just before Christmas, just so that we could go in, and again, so that Evie realised that the hospice was still there, because I think she feels like by going there, she gets to see her sister and be near her sister. So that was really, really lovely. And yeah, they're still in touch with us all the time. And yeah, I think that's the only way we've been able, I think, to so openly talk about Imogen and openly feel really connected to her still, is by having that connection at the hospice. Because without the hospice, I honestly don't know how we would have coped with her life or her death, to be honest. And I honestly don't think we would have had more children if it wasn't for the support we had when Imogen was alive, because she took up so much of our time and energy, and I think we would have never been able to create the memories that we created without the hospice, because we have so many amazing memories of going to stay, and we have so many amazing photos and videos of all the things that we did at the hospice, which we can look back on and show our other 2 children, so that we can really remember the good times, because they were hard times, but they were also really special. And she was alive, and she got to nearly 5 years old. A lot of memories that, thanks to the hospice, we have really, really, really lovely ones.